What's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. I'm going to continue to examine 100 years of the greatest 150 black fighters of all times. We're looking at Archie Moore. Now, we talked about Archie Moore. Old Mongoose, Ancient Archie. He was born December 13th, 1916, Benoit, Mississippi. And we went over some of the opponents that he was in the ring with. But he fought a lot of fighters that are not talked about, not discussed. Now, we know he was in a ring with Ezra Charles, Cincinnati, Ohio. Ezra Charles had a record of 121 total bouts, 95 wins, 25 losses, 52 knockouts. And he was in a ring with Charlie Burley twice. And after Charles was in a ring with Tommy Hurricane Jackson and Booker Butworth and Joey Maxim. But he would defeat Archie Moore twice. But Archie Moore stood 5'11". And he was a light heavyweight. He started out as a middleweight. In fact, he was ranked number 1 as a middleweight in 1944. But he would move up in weight as Ezra Charles and Jimmy Bivens did, because it wasn't being treated fairly as a middleweight. But Archie Moore would be in the ring with Jack Chase several times, Curtis the Hatchet Man Shepherd, and Georgie Parks. He would face Lord Gibbons and Doc Williams, Leonard Marrow and Jimmy Bivens. Fought a lot of them guys in 1 month. He was in the ring with Shorty Huge and Big Boy Huge. Archie Moore was very underrated as a fighter. But he does get his respect. He has 7 knockouts with the Black Murderers Row combined. He was in the ring with Little Tiger Aaron Wade, San Francisco. He would lose to him in 10 rounds August 16th, 1943. In that same month, he would be in the ring with Jack Chase, May 8th of that year, 43, San Diego, California. He would defeat him in 15 rounds. He would have a 10-round draw with Eddie Booker, 10 rounds. And Eddie Booker was such a strong puncher, he would crack Archie Moore's ribs. But Archie Moore couldn't deal with Charlie Burley. Charlie Burley was too fast. He moved around too much. Foot speed and hand speed. And Archie Moore would develop a defense, somewhat of a cross-arm defense. But he would face Burt Littell and Bobby Yanger, Jimmy Bivens, and George Fitch. 1948, January 13th, he would take on Ezra Charles, Cleveland. He would be stopped in 8th round by Ezra Charles. He would take on Doc Williams in Newark, New Jersey. He would knock him out in 7 rounds. April 19th, 1948 of that year. June 2nd, 1948, he'd be in the ring with Leonard Marrow, Oakland, California. He'd be stopped in 1 round. Would also take on Jimmy Bivens, June 28th of 1948. Fought him in Baltimore, Maryland, and he would defeat Jimmy Bivens in 10 rounds. Lloyd Gibbons and Henry Hall, Bob Amos, and Charlie Williams. Now, he would have victory with all of those men. 1949 would be a big year for Archie Moore. January 10th, he would fight Alabama Kid, Toledo, Ohio, and he would knock him out in 4 rounds. Then he would take on hard-punching Bob Satterfield. And he would fight him January 31st, 1949. Toledo, Ohio. He would knock him out in 3 rounds. Alabama Kid once again. And Columbus. He would knock him out in 3 rounds. March 4th of 1949. You see, Archie Moore didn't turn his back from fighters. He was consistent. Fought the very best in his era. And he would take on men such as Harold Johnson. Harold Johnson would become the light heavyweight champion of the world. December 17, 1952. He would take on Joey Maxim for the World Light Heavyweight Championship crown. He would defeat him in 15 rounds. And that would be a magnificent feat. Because Archie Moore been knocking on the door for a title shot since he was a middleweight. Tony Zale refused to face Archie Moore. Gus Lesnievich refused to face Archie Moore. You had fighters such as Lloyd Marshall and Jimmy Bivens, Ezzard Charles, all light heavyweights at that time. And they would face one another several times because they couldn't get the big fights that they were looking for. But Archie Moore would fight all the way up to the heavyweight division when he would take on Cassius Clay. But in 1956, he would fight Floyd Patterson for the vacant heavyweight championship strap. He'd be stopped in 5. 1955 would be Rocky Marciano's last fight. And it would be with Archie Moore. Moore would drop him in the first round, but be stopped in 9 himself. And I just wanted to point out Archie Moore's career to an extent because he's very underrated and he doesn't get the credit for the things that he's done. He was in the ring with Ted Laurie, Tiger Ted Laurie, Charlie Burley, as I said, Jimmy Bivens, Ezzard Charles, Chuck Wiggins, Tommy Hurricane Jackson, Booker Buckworth, Carl Bobo Olsen. What can I say about Archie Moore? Archie Moore was a hell of a fighter. Shout out to Archie Moore.
Archie Moore. body